Hey guys, I just want to make a video really quick, and I'm sorry the filming is going to be shaky because I'm literally just like taking a selfie, but it's a video. I went to my friend's wedding tonight, and I was actually a bridesmaid, and I already took off my dress and my makeup and stuff because it was a long day. And I have been thinking about making this video for a while, and it just seemed so appropriate because I just went to a wedding of Marital Advice from a Newly Wed. So I've been married for coming up on 4 months now, and so I'm not like a marriage expert. Sorry, that was really close to the camera. But I feel like there's things to learn from people of all ages and all types of experience. So, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was every time you go to a wedding and there's dancing, you should dance with your spouse at least once, even if you're not great at dancing. Just to kind of take you back to your wedding day, and weddings are a celebration of your love for the other person and their love for you, and it's especially for the couple who got married, obviously, but it's not bad to remember your own wedding and do that. And I feel like I don't know, I love dancing with my husband at weddings, even though he usually only wants to do 1 or 2 dances, but it's just good for you. Dance at every wedding you get the chance. And another thing I wanted to talk about was high-fiving your spouse every once in a while. And that might sound really dumb. That's probably gonna sound really dumb. But I feel like, I don't know, have you ever gotten a high five and like been sad because of it? Like, I don't know, to me, high fives like instantly lift my spirit, you know? Even though this isn't grade school and our lives are more complex than high fives usually can fix or anything. But, like, if your spouse did a good job on something, high five them. If you're feeling rad about something, high five them. Like, what's wrong with that? Give each other more high fives. I feel like this world needs more high fives. Everyone's so judgy. Like, stop. Just high five each other and have fun. Another thing I wanted to talk about was that it's important to cuddle a lot. Just when you're watching movies, or before you fall asleep, or anything, cuddle a lot. It's good for you. Helps your immune system. Pretty sure that's a fact somewhere. Might know fact. Check me on that. But yeah, like, have those really tender, like, intimate but non-sexual kinds of touches, and it will enhance a lot of parts of your life. I feel like, make sure that you kiss each other a few times a day, and that you're not forgetting how to do that. And I think above all, make your spouse your number 1 priority. And it's really easy to get caught up with the work and the kids and the whatever else in your life. But I really believe that if you make, like, your spouse your number 1 priority, I mean, I also believe that you should make God your number 1 priority, but I also believe that God wants you to make your spouse your number 1 priority. He wants you to take good care of your spouse. And if you're listening to them and helping them with their struggles and all of that, and just taking good care of them, you'll be able to take care of your kids better, your work will go better, because what's the point of having all this work and getting money and stuff if your spouse is feeling neglected and stuff? Like, we do these things to take care of our families and to take care of ourselves, but they're backfiring if we're focusing on them more than our spouse, and making sure that you're taking time to get to know your spouse outside of your children and your job and everything. And because some people don't, and I know of families who, like, their parents are together for years and years and years and years, and then they get divorced when they're older, and it's like, well, what happened? It's like, well, they didn't know how to be with each other now that they're empty nesters, or now that their husband doesn't have such a demanding job and stuff. They don't know how to be with each other. And that's important, to focus on how to be with each other. Like, I'm really lucky that my parents are still together, and now that they're empty nesters and stuff, they get to be together more. And I think they're excited that they can have kind of adventures and do things that they couldn't necessarily. So, I don't know, make sure you're having a really strong relationship outside of the daily chores and monotony, and making sure that you're putting each other's needs first. Even though it's really easy for lots of men and women to be like, no, my kids come first. My kids come first. It's like, your kids, you gotta take care of them. Like, I'm not saying neglect your children so that you can have time with your husband or your wife, but, I mean, definitely don't let that destroy your relationship with your spouse. And it's kind of hard to find a balance sometimes. But even just asking each other every day, like, what can I do to make your life easier? That could go a long way. And I mean, I don't have kids yet, so it's probably a lot harder than I even realize at this point. But do your best. Make a balance in your life. And let's see, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. I guess just be forgiving of your spouse. And your spouse is going to be as good as you let them be, I guess. I don't know, a wise man once said that you're not looking for a perfect one, and once you're married, they are the perfect one, as long as you allow them to be. And that's a really terrible paraphrasing, so it probably didn't even make sense. But just thinking about letting your spouse progress with you and not holding them back by bringing up all these mistakes and criticizing them and things, and just letting them grow as a person. And hopefully you're growing as a person, and you're growing together in your relationship, and your spouse is the perfect one for you. Unless you're in some kind of horribly abusive relationship, then that might not apply. But for the most part, fight to fix things rather than fighting to end it. I have a coworker who went through a pretty nasty divorce, and she told me recently, like, fight to fix things. Don't fight to end your relationship. Fight to fix things in your relationship. And, you know, it's kind of that, putting a spouse first, and also just having respect for their capabilities and believing in them, and they'll believe in you, and you will have exponentially more happiness if you're both trying to support each other. And I firmly believe that anyone can be happy if you both are working towards a common goal. And that doesn't mean, like, oh, we have to have the same career or anything, but, like, for me, like, living the gospel of my religion is really important to me, and it's really important to my husband. And if we're both trying to do that to the best we can, and we're both trying to better ourselves and become more Christ-like, then I feel like we can overcome anything if we're both sincerely trying our best. And when people stop trying their best to progress with their spouse, I feel like that's when the most trouble starts. So try your best. Involve your spouse, talk to them, and be open with your feelings. And that's all pretty basic stuff, but I don't know. I guess that's a newlywed's take on marriage.